have an insane amount of things pulled up today and to talk to you guys about. So hopefully we will get to every bit of it. I should not have a hard stop today if my day goes the way that I plan for it to. So we shall see based on those things. So yeah, happy, what is today? Thursday to everybody. Good morning, Tara. What's up, Winn Dixie? Hey, Amy, how are you? Oh shit. Hold on. I'm just now remembering that I need to do this. What's up, Maria? Salam, resist to freedom. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, blessed and grateful. Good morning, Shawnee. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Candy Kiss, Cam. Good morning, Burke. Good to see you. What's up, Carla? Hey, tech lady. What's up, Tim Bam? Did I see you say something about a damn snowman? You can have that, tech lady. That is why I do not live in Minnesota. No, thank you. Good morning, Sarah. She said it's snowing there again. Absolutely not. Not for me. Good morning from my corner. What's up, Michael? Hey, Jay Bird. Folks, if you are watching me anywhere other than TikTok, please say hi in the comments so that I can greet you. What's up, Conchita? Hey, Farah. What's up, Terry? So you heard you're getting my own television show. Black Nine, you are probably referring to, we were planning something when I was in Atlanta, and we had to put that on pause when I moved back home to take care of my mom. She got sick for about a year. So that is on pause. And hopefully unpaused by the end of 2026. So we shall see. So good morning, everybody. Glad everybody is here. Hey, Barbara Shaw, good to see you as well. So as you can see, I have three main topics up here, but they are not everything that we are going to talk about. As always, we're kind of going to go with the flow a little bit, but there are a few things that I do want to make sure that I get to. And one of the ones that I have to get to is, thanks, Carla. One of the ones that I have to get to is and I don't want to be, good morning, Tom. Like, I don't want to say, like, address the lies. That's why the prompt says, are they lies or does he really believe what he's saying? But I do need to get to some of the things that the President of the United States said last night in his address. We do have to talk about that, and we have to talk about some actual factual information. Good morning, Kat. Good to see you. Good morning, Scotty. Good to see you. Hey, Kristen, Yaya. I'm not sure if I got everybody. Good morning, Sandy. And then, towards the end of yesterday, we started going over the court cases. We're going to go over them again. We're going to talk about the birthright citizenship case. We're going to talk again about NPR and PBS and why that's so important. We are also going to talk about the both, maybe. Tom, they may be both. But I also want to talk about something that's not getting a lot of press in the United States. And I believe it's really, really important. Good morning, Tara Love. And it is something that happened with Saudi Arabia and the President of the United States. So we do need to talk about that as well. I feel like there's just a ton. Like, I have so many tabs open in this browser right now. It is wild and it is insane. And it's really important. He only spoke for about 19 minutes. I think I made it 4 minutes in. I think I did. Good morning, Ruby. Good to see you as well. And I also want to talk about, we have to talk about Iran, and we have to talk about Israel, and we have to talk about Lebanon. And I also have to talk about media again, and even media that people think is supposed to be nonpartisan. And I want to just point out how even the most quote unquote balanced media in the United States of America is still using language that is rooted in propaganda. And it happened this morning It happened this morning when I was listening to NPR. So in the morning, one of the things that I do is so I'll listen to NPR a little bit while I take everybody in the family everywhere they need to go. Right. Good morning, Linda. That takes me about an hour and a half every morning. So I will listen to NPR, and then if they piss me off, I'll turn it off and put on music, and then I'll turn them back on, and that sort of thing. Good mornings, peeps for peace, and then when I get back here, I tend to dive in. Good morning, Nancy G. I dive in and I not listen to, I will look up The Guardian and Politico and ProPublica and Al Jazeera. Those are the main four that I open up in the morning. And then I kind of go around and see, what is it that I know that I want to bring up that maybe other people aren't talking about, other people aren't covering, things like that. And I do want to point something out around Kristi Noem. Hey, Cam, good morning. And I do want to talk about Kristi Noem and her husband, but not in the way that you might think. There's an important thing that I need to point out there. Good morning, Letty. Good to see you. So that's a lot, right? Those are a lot of topics today, but it's going to be a full 4 hours today. So just buckle up and get ready for it. I will say this. I have invited someone, if they have time to join us today, I have invited someone to drop by and provide some clarity around some of the things that the president said last night. So hopefully this person will have time. If they don't, that's okay. And maybe they'll be able to do it tomorrow. But I sent them a message and we'll just see what happens from there. Okay. All right. Good morning, Carol. Okay. So I do want to say this. If you are watching me on Substack, and I hate this, but for whatever reason, I don't get to see the comments from Substack on Restream. And, but if I go live directly on Substack, I can't share my screen on Substack. They don't have the ability for me to do that. So in order for me to make sure that you get to see everything, I use Restream, but that just means I can't see your comments. Good morning, Miguel. So, hey, Scott, good morning, cuz. So if you're on Substack, just know that I would love to be able to chat with you. I just can't see your comments. So is your jolly good G? What? Let me also say this for my folks that are back home in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. I would highly encourage you to be tuned in to the news today. What's up, Ja? Good to see you. Appreciate you. So I don't really have a lot of details other than today is going to be a news day back home that's probably going to make me happy. So take that for what it's worth and maybe tune in back home. Okay. Okay. So a couple of different things that I want to, hey, Jamie, good to see you as well. Good morning, Carlos. Hey, Witch. I don't know if I said hi to you or not. Hey, Michael, good to see you. What's up, Big Daddy D? So we're gonna kind of just dive right on in. Okay. And I am not going to want to, Democrats are emotionally challenged, says the man who's in a room that doesn't know if anybody's a Democrat or not, who seems pretty emotional. like who does that? Just so weird. Maybe it's a bot. Democrats hate, oh, wow, they've sent a couple of them in here. Or are they bots? Right. Are they bots or people? Oh, I would love this. Come on, Chris, come talk to me about Democrats. Bob, you can come too. You can come too, Bob. I gave invites to both of you. Okay, great. I love this. So give me a second. I love that. I love that. Appreciate you. Hold on, Bob, 1 second. Appreciate that over there. I love that. Okay. Yeah, Rosie, I did. I just started. So good morning, Bob. Is this your first time in my live ever?
Yes.
Okay, great. So since this is your first time in, what I want to do is just kind of level set so that you know how I do things in this room. So I have 4 little guidelines up here, and they're not difficult. I just ask that people are respectful. I ask that no one use slurs. I don't care who you are. Number 3, I ask that people don't spam the comments, which is just don't say the same thing over and over and over again. And then I ask that people not type in all caps, because all caps are reserved for my moderators. And then I have folks that are vision impaired. And so all caps is for those individuals. Okay.
Do you follow your own guidelines?
I do. Absolutely. That's why they're my guidelines.
Well, then you tried to discredit me and the other individual and called us bots, didn't you?
No, I said, nope. I asked no, Bob, I said, or are they bots?
Correct.
Yeah, I said, or are they? And so the reason why I asked that question, Bob, when I say, or are they bots, is because there are a lot of bots on social media. And that's why I clicked your profile to see if you were like a person and had followers and that sort of thing. So that's different than saying I said you were a bot. There are plenty of bots that come in here. And so what I said was, are these real people or are they bots? And then that's when I checked and invited you up. Yeah, so that's not attempting to discredit you. I don't think that you've said anything that needs to be discredited. I don't know that you've claimed a fact yet, have you?
I said something and then you responded about the bots. And then somebody said that Tim Hafner said something. Let me see. Democrats hate God, hate American, hate their parents. Yeah, and then you said that was a bot comment.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not say it was a bot comment, Bob. What I said, good morning, Robert. Good to see you. What I said is, are these bots? Because we get a lot of them on TikTok. You probably are familiar with that there are tons of bots on here. So, okay, so let's talk about your statement. So when you say Democrats hate God, I guess the first question that I would ask you is, which God are you referring to?
There's only one.
No, there's more than one God. Even the Bible says there are. Hold on, Bob. Even the Bible says there's more than one God.
You can have your view.
Well, no, the Bible literally says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So even the Bible says that there are other. Bob, hold on. This is part of being respectful. People can't hear you if you're talking over me and can't hear me if I'm talking over you. So if you'll just give me the moment to finish my sentence, I'm going to let you respond. But even the Bible says, thou shalt have no other gods before me, indicating that there are multiple gods, but that particular God of the Bible desired to be first.
That's a false assumption.
How so? If I say don't have any other gods before me, I'm acknowledging that there are other gods, right?
Yes, they're false gods. False gods.
But it doesn't say that.
Yes, it does.
No, in that one sentence, no, in that scripture, it clearly says, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
What is the number one commandment?
The number one commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and love thy neighbor as thyself. All other laws and prophets hang on those two.
Don't worship any false gods.
No. So I'm actually talking about what Jesus said. So what Jesus said, when the disciples asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? Jesus responded and said, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. And he also went on to say, the very next line is, he also goes on to say, all other laws and prophets hang on these two. So that is the greatest, that's the greatest commandment according to Jesus Christ.
Well, God says don't put any other gods before him.
Okay, but so let me ask you a question. Do you practice Christianity?
Yes.
Okay, so what does it mean to be a Christian?
That means you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Right. Okay. And so Jesus Christ said, you are no longer under the law, you are under grace. So the 10 commandments that you are quoting, right, from the Old Testament is superseded by what Jesus Christ said. So Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. And so Jesus Christ says, these are the greatest commandments. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. All other laws and prophets hang on these.
You're a little bit, you goalpost some, because the original subject we were talking about was that Democrats had got my post.
And
right
I
there.
asked you, yes. And so what I asked you was, my question to you was, which God are you? I don't assume someone's religion. So when you say Democrats hate God, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you for clarity. And I'm going to ask you what God you're referring to. And your response to that was, there's only one God. And my response is, not according to the Bible. Because the Bible says, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
That's your interpretation.
Well, it is, because my interpretation is based on what it says.
Well, that's what
So Bob, if I say to you, thou shalt have no other wives before me, does that mean that there are multiple wives?
If you have no wives before me, no, you have one.
No, but if I say, thou shalt have no other wives before me.
Correct.
So you would assume you have other wives, because, or that other wives do exist, correct?
False assumption.
No, it's not. If I say do not have other, let's just do this. If I say,
you could have your neighbor's wife, you could have your brother's wife.
but those wives exist.
You could have your dad's wife.
Right, but that would mean that those wives exist. They don't have to be your wives. Right, but that means those wives exist. Right. And so what I said to you is, those other gods exist, because the Bible says they do. The Bible says, do not have any other gods before me. If no other God existed, there would be no need. There would be no need to say that.
Well, no, because they know that man has free will, and he's going to, he may choose another God to worship.
But he can't choose another God if they don't exist.
Sure, he could. He could use shrugs as his God.
And he can, but Bob, the question you said to me, there's only one God, and I said, no, there's not. I said, the Bible says that there are multiple gods.
Listen, but the God you're talking about, you're not going to equate shrugs because somebody worships shrugs like they would a God.
I would if that's their God.
Well,
but so on what? Listen, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go by scripture and what the Bible says, okay. Right? That's what I'm going to go by. Okay, so you made the statement, which we can discuss. You made the statement that Democrats hate God. On what basis do you on what fact do you base that statement?
Would you consider if I rejected you that I would dislike you or hate you, have negative feelings towards you because I rejected you?
No, but I'm asking you.
That's what I'm saying. In other words, if you look at statistics, if you type in now, who disavows the existence of a God to a higher percentage, Democrats or Republicans? Who do you think?
So can you give me your source for that?
Many sources.
Well, no, but I would like a source. Here, I'll do it right now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Go ahead.
What party doesn't believe in God?
Members that disavow God. What political party has the highest percentage of affiliation or members that disavow the presence of a God?
I don't think there is such a thing. There's I'm just like, so literally if you go to Pew Research Center, it literally talks about the religion, not necessarily God or the higher power. And disavowing is different than worshiping different gods. So I guess, but this is the thing that I'm asking you, because you said Democrats hate God, which is not necessarily disavowing God. So my question to you is, on what facts are you basing that statement?
Same thing that you did, research and empirical evidence.
Well, but you can't tell me your empirical evidence. Disavowing, hating God is not the same thing as not practicing a religion.
I'm not saying, where did we get in practicing a religion?
Well, because you're talking about God and Christianity. So because the study, like even the study that we're talking about is specifically talking about multiple things.
we're talking about a particular study.
We are, because
a general consensus.
Well, no.
Yes.
No, we're not. I asked you for a source.
And I told you.
No, what you said was multiple things.
Right.
So again, Bob, you can't tell me a specific thing. Hey, good morning, Thomas. So Bob, you can't tell me a specific thing that supports your statement.
Sure. You could go to Pew Research.
Well, no, you don't get to use the source. So can you tell me can you tell me what article with Pew I'm referring to?
No.
Okay, well, do you know what it actually says?
It says that Democrats, those who call themselves Democrats or who affiliate with the Democratic Party, disavow or
no.
Wait a minute. You gonna let me speak or you speaking?
Well, go ahead and finish, but that's not what it says. But go ahead.
Well, what it says, I'm paraphrasing, but I don't know the exact word. Because that wouldn't be anything to me to doggone just be able to quote the article to you, other than just the gist of what it says. It says that Democrats, by a larger percentage, either don't recognize God, disavow God, ridicule God, don't give him reverence, than Republicans.
No, it does not say that. No, it doesn't. I will tell you exactly what it says. So Bob, I'm speaking now. No, you finished your sentence. And so what I'm going to do, Bob, I'm going to finish what it actually says. So this Pew study that was done actually combined multiple questions. There was no singular question about a belief or disavowment of God. It was a question about prayer and religious attendance. That was the first coupling of the two. And then the other two was, hold on one second, the two questions. Okay, yes. So two questions was about prayer and religious attendance that was also combined with two other questions about a belief in God and how important religion is to them. So the point that I made previously, Bob, about separating a belief in God from a religion, I have not seen any statistical or empirical information that specifically addresses that question. Even Pew Research, the source that I gave you, does not ask that singular question in and of itself. It comprises the two together. And some people believe in God and do not subscribe to a particular religion. Some people believe in God and do not practice Christianity. That is not the same thing. So what I'm asking you, since we know that there's no study that shows that specific thing, the question that I'm asking you is, on what basis do you say that Democrats, because you didn't even say Democrats disavow God more than Republicans, your statement, your original statement was Democrats hate God. And so I'm asking you, on what facts are you basing that statement?
We could use that research right there. They don't pray. They don't practice.
That doesn't mean you hate God. And it doesn't say that they, and it doesn't say, no, it doesn't. Bob, Bob,
you're supposed to give God reverence.
Bob,
and recognition.
Bob,
yes.
Let's be very clear. What it says is daily prayer. It was asking about daily, and that doesn't mean giving God reverence. Okay, so we're gonna back up. Not praying daily does not mean you hate God.
I disagree.
Well, you can disagree, but nowhere in the Bible does Jesus Christ say or God say that you must pray every day in order to believe in God.
The Bible's subject to interpretation. How I personally.
Well, nowhere does it say that, and that is the book that you say guides your religion, is it not?
No, my faith is guided. It's a good blueprint.
Okay, so you're basing this is just your personal opinion then,
right?
Okay, great.
No. Based on empirical evidence and research.
No, sir, there is no empirical evidence. Okay, well then give it to me. Give it to me, Bob. Give it to me then. Give me your empirical research, Bob.
The question in.
Bob, give me your empirical research.
Type the question in.
Bob, give me your empirical research. Tell me the website to go to. Tell me the report to look up.
Well, if I teacup, and then you're going to say I ran. Just
no, I'm not. You can teacup. We'll be right here, Bob. We'll be right here, Bob. You can teacup.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. So one of the things that I am never opposed to do is have discussions about religion, especially if we're going to have a discussion around Christianity, right? And I think one of the things that we have difficulty with is separating our own beliefs, our own personal beliefs, our own ideology, and what is fact-based data, right? Good morning, Denisha. And so they are completely two different things. And exactly. So this is my thing. Religion is man-made, 100%. Religion is man-made. Every religion was organized by an individual. And so that's why I said even the Pew Research study that's done isn't about God versus religion. You know what I mean? Because they go together in many instances for people. Hi, Bob. So what's the study that you have?
I just provided 3 links right there. And in my question I asked you.
I don't. So links are, so Bob, hold on. So let me say this. Links are, will oftentimes get blocked out on here because TikTok doesn't like for you to put links. So can you tell me your source?
They're not blocked out.
I cannot see them. I am telling you that so you're not able to just tell me the site because I don't see links. Everybody's telling you the links are not showing.
www.google.com.search. Do Democrats hate God? That's what you got to put.
No, that's not a source.
I mean, the source is with the response when you type in that question.
No, that's not a
Democrats
source.
are more secular. They're actually has tripled since 1996. I was just reading. Look at them sources. Somebody else can. If you
okay, so let me be. So Bob, maybe you and I. So let's talk about when we talk about.
Type it in. Do Democrats hate God like God? You said you couldn't find it.
Bob, lower your voice, Bob. There's no need to be this upset. So let me be clear. What you are reading, Bob. Let me tell you what you are reading. What you are reading is what's called an AI overview. It's what it says at the very top, right? And so the problem with AI overviews, and I don't know if you know this or not, but what AI does when it gives you that AI overview is it scans the entirety of the internet, all sources, including things like Reddit or just opinion pieces that someone wrote on medium.com or any of those things. Okay. And what's important to understand is that AI overview is not an actual source from a study. So like when I talked about Pew Research is literally a research center, and that is all they do. And so they can actually tell you the formula from what they got. They can tell you how many people were involved in the study that they did. They can do all of those types of things. So when I'm asking you for a source, I'm not asking you for an AI overview. And since let's just move past the whole source thing. My question to you is, Bob, what behavior do you believe means that Democrats hate God?
Oh, they ridicule him all the time. They ridicule
in what way?
They ridicule him. They make fun. Oh, you believe in the fake little man, the imaginary man up God, like
so. But that's not God. They're talking about Christianity, and that doesn't necessarily mean that those people are Democrats.
Christianity means Christian Christ-like. Yes, they are.
Yeah, but so we understand though. But we understand that when people talk about Christianity, that is different than talking about God. They are specifically talking about your religion.
No, they're talking about God.
Well, they're not, because they literally didn't say God.
They do.
They literally mocked the religion that you believe in, which is different.
Right. You believe in the little imaginary man. That's what they say.
Okay. And so, but Bob, how do you know that all of those people are Democrats?
Because they're taking Democratic ideology and promoted it.
What's Democratic ideology?
That men can be women, that if God doesn't exist, that
I've never heard Democratic ideology that says that.
that's your shortcoming, not mine.
No, I'm just saying that's not Democratic ideology.
It is Democratic ideology.
It is not, Bob. How many Democratic friends do you? How many Democratic friends do you have?
Lots.
Lots.
Yes.
Okay, and so your Democratic friends tell you that God doesn't exist?
No, in conversation we don't talk about it all the time because it's a sore subject. I say, you believe your way, and no, I guess you're screwed because when you die, you just pretty much say, I'm just going to rot in the ground.
Well,
people who believe in God believe there's a life after.
Well, there are many people that believe there's a life after that don't believe in Christianity.
That's their problem.
Right. So this is my thing. So Bob, here's my thing. Where do
these people go that you're talking about that don't believe in Christianity? Where do they believe? Tell us about what they believe in the life after.
So hold on a second, Bob. Let me just say this. So first of all, I grew up in church, right? And the majority of actually every Black church I've ever been in that and Black churches do tend to vote Democrat. They do absolutely practice Christianity and they do believe in God. It's a really big thing in the Black and brown community to be a Christian and to believe in Christ. Like they literally have a thing called Souls to the Pole, where the churches provide transportation to the polls. Right. So what we know is that Black Americans tend to, by majority, right? We know that in 2024, 92% of Black women voted Democrat. And we know that 82 or 83%, 87% of Black men voted Democrat. So, and we also know that the majority of the Black community is also Christian. So when you say, Bob, that Democrats hate God,
right?
Are you telling Black Americans that they don't really love God because they vote?
I believe that what I'm saying is that they have shown allegiance and affiliation to a party that doesn't.
No, so that's not what you said. You said Democrats hate God. No, sir. Bob, that is not what you said. You said, Bob, at the beginning of this conversation, nope, Bob, nope, Bob, you got to stop. That's not what you said. What you said is, Bob, I'm going to call you on exactly what you said. Your statement was Democrats hate God.
I stick with that.
And what I am saying to you, so you are saying that all of the Black Americans that go to church every Sunday that vote Democrat and worship Jesus Christ and are Christians, all of those people hate God.
No, they could all love him, but they're only 13%. If every single one of them was a devout Christian, they would still be a subset of a larger group that hates God.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So Bob, and by the way, let's just hold on a second, Bob. So let's just be clear about something. So 13% is the entire population of the Black community in the United States of America. That is not the percentage of Black Americans that are registered to vote, right? So it's important when we start bringing out percentages and things like that, that we actually use percentages that are applicable to what we are discussing. Okay, so it's really important that we do that. I want everyone in the comments to remember to stay respectful at all times. No matter how you feel about it, everyone in the comments stay respectful. Okay. All right. So, Bob, the problem that we are having in this discussion is you made a statement that said Democrats hate God.
Correct.
I believe the second half of your statement was, and they hate their parents. Okay.
Correct.
Right. Okay. And yet, when we talk about facts, right? And when we talk about facts, and the facts that are that the vast majority of Black Americans in this country vote Democrat. And a huge part of the Black American population in this country are also Christians, right? So that would be a definitive indicator that your statement is not true.
Wrong.
Well, you can say that, Bob, but again, it's not true.
By your own admission, that 13%, not every one of them are Democrats.
No, so that's not what I said. No, it's so important that you listen. Bob, it's so important that you listen to what I'm saying. I did not say that. I did not say, Bob, stop interrupting me. What I did not say was, what I did not say is that all of them aren't Democrats. That's not what I said, Bob. I said 13% represents the Black American population in this country. I did not say that they're not Democrats. I did not do that. Yeah, so Ryan, I just did. In the 2024 election, 92 or 93% of all Black women voted Democrat. And 80, excuse me, Bob, I'm answering a question in the comments. Stop interrupting. I'm answering someone in the comments. And Ryan, by the same token, it was 83 or 84% of Black men also voted Democrat in the 2024 election, Ryan. So that is the statistic that I am referring to. And that statistic holds true. So that is actually a fact. If you pull up the facts from the 2024 election, right, you will see that information. So that's not difficult. That is not hard to understand at all. All right. So, Bob, what I hear you saying is you have an opinion, and it doesn't matter what statistics show. You are going to just say, well, that's not true. And it doesn't matter if the statistics are completely different than what you say. Is that correct?
I disagree with your interpretation of the statistics.
Okay, so what interpretation do you not agree with?
Blacks don't hate God. Not blacks, but Democrats.
Okay, so let's be clear. There's no such thing as blacks. Blacks is a color. You can say Black people. Like I said, Black Americans. So blacks doesn't exist. Blacks is like just blacks. That's not black is a color.
Well, how would you define blacks?
I wouldn't. I would say blacks is.
You say that word doesn't exist?
No, it doesn't. So blacks. So is there multiple, Bob? I'm going to speak. So when you say the word blacks, okay, then if I have the color black, because that's what black is a color. Bob, I'm going to finish speaking.
You're rambling.
No, I'm not. Black is a color. Correct. And so there's no such thing as blacks because there's not multiple colors of black. It's just blacks. So when we are discussing, Bob, you're going to stop interrupting me. When we are discussing people, right? The correct term is Black people.
For you.
No, period. That's the correct term. Yeah. Right. The same way that I would say white people, the same way that I would say Black people, brown people. I'm not a black. Listen. I'm not a black.
Just like Black people on.
There you go, Black people. There you go, Black people. Right. Black is the adjective. Black is the adjective. So let me be clear. Black is the adjective that tells you which people you are discussing. So it's Black people.
Now it's a noun.
No, it's not. No, nouns don't describe a person, place, or thing. Nouns are a person, place, or thing.
Blacks, you'll know what I'm saying.
Well, I just told you at the beginning of this. I just told you, Bob, at the beginning of this, what I said is that in here we are respectful and we don't use slurs. So I have explained to you. I have explained to you. Yeah, and that's the version that matters. So I have explained to you, as have people in the comments, that blacks is derogatory. It's a derogatory term. And what you agreed to when you came to my panel was that you could be respectful and not use slurs. So I have explained it to you. So Bob, you're either going to choose to be respectful or not. So are you able to say Black people or Black Americans or not?
I can say Black Americans or Black people or blacks. They're all the same.
No, you cannot. No, you may not. Not here. I don't care what you do at home, but not here.
That's fascism.
No, it's not fascism, Bob. No, it's not.
What words that I can use and what words I can't.
And in my space, I absolutely can do that. If you want to go get on your own live, Bob, and say whatever you want, then do that. But in my space, you are correct. I am going to tell you what you can or cannot say. And you can or cannot say. So, Bob, are you able to or not?
Am I able to what?
Refrain from using the word blacks. You're either going to say Black people or Black Americans.
We'll use another term.
Well, let's discuss what term you think you'll be using. Buenos dias, Mr. Barrios.
African Americans.
Okay, great. You can do that.
Okay.
100%. Okay. Hey, happy Thursday, Michael. Good to see you. All right. So, this is what I wanted to do real quick. So on to this topic. So when I type into Google, right, and I say, what percentage of the Black American population are Christians? All of a sudden, I get something from the Pew Research Center, and it says 73% of Black adults identify as Christian. So when you ask me, what is my source when I say that the majority of Black Americans in this country identify as Christians, I'm going to tell you the source and the research. And this is from 2023 to 2024. And if you want to break them down by denomination, evangelical Protestant is 15%, mainline Protestant is 6%, historically Black Protestant is 44%, Catholic is 4%, Latter-day Saint, which is Mormon, is 1%, Orthodox Christian is 1%, Jehovah's Witness is 1%, and other Christian is also 1%. So those are the statistics based on Black Americans in this country. So that would be the facts based on the data. So then if I say what percentage of the Black American population vote Democrat, right? If I do that, I also get a Pew Research that comes up. And then this one is from 2024. I've actually seen this one before. So what it will show you is Black voters, and it breaks it down by not only their Democratic Party, but then it goes into some other things. So 80, hold on, I'm going to give you this. So in 2003, 83% of Black voters vote Democrat. So 73% are Christian, 83% vote Democrat.
That was 2003.
Okay, so Bob, I'm not sure if you know what it takes to do data and research. So this report came out April 9th of 2024. Okay. So Bob, I'm going to finish speaking. Bob, I'm still speaking. Bob, my name's not Boo Boo. Bob, my name's not Boo Boo. Am I calling you asshole?
I don't care.
Well, I do. And I've told you before that you're going to be respectful.
I didn't disrespect you.
You did. My name is Dani.
Well, I can call you Boo Boo.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I'm going to tell you why you can't, Bob.
All right.
I'm going to tell you why you can't. That's what I thought. Bob left. I don't have to kick Bob. Bob kicked himself. So this is something that is really important for people to understand. Okay. Words without context mean anything. And words are often an indicator of relationship. Okay. So let me just be clear. Words are an indicator of relationship. So honey, baby, any of those things would indicate that we have some sort of relationship. We don't have a relationship. Bob and I don't have a relationship. So Bob and I are not going to interact as if we have a relationship. Bob can call me by my name or he can say ma'am, right? But Bob does not get to call me whatever Bob wants to because this is not Bob's room and I don't belong to Bob. The days where people who look like me belong to Bob are over. Now, maybe Bob's not happy about that. I don't know. But the days where people like Bob got to own people like me are over. And so, no, Bob does not get to give me a new name. I have a name that my parents gave me. So you don't get to give me a name, and you don't get to call me whatever you want. And this is just what it is. Good morning, Marilyn. Okay. So it's just really important. And let me tell you why I'm not upset about Bob. Some of you guys got really upset about the things that he was saying. Why would you get upset after Bob showed you who he was? Why would you get upset or expect anything different? Good day, Quasi. Why would you get upset about that? Yeah, but you guys don't. It's okay. But listen, here's what I would say: is never get upset. Never get upset about people that choose those types of things. Never get upset. Those people are not worth the energy that it takes for me to get upset. Because here's the thing, I'm going to go on, and y'all know me. When I finish this damn live, I'm not going to remember Bob's damn name. I'm not going to remember Bob. Bob is one in a long line of people that think and behave like that. Right? They don't get to take up any space in my life and in my thought process. He's not valuable enough. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. When you ask me, why do I let someone be up here? Because there are almost 500 people in here on TikTok, right? So what does that mean? It means that we are providing a lesson for everyone else that is listening. We are. I give people time to show you who they are. And so if you'll notice, when I wouldn't let the first slur go by, he wanted to pick another one. That was his job, you guys. His job. He needed to find something that he thought was going to irk me. He was trying. Oh, well, I can't do this button. Let me try this button. Let me try this. Let me try this. Bob, I've been dealing with white men like you my whole ass life. There's nothing you can say that I haven't heard at this point. You understand? There's nothing you can say. And I'm grown. I stopped caring what white people say to me a long damn time ago. Been hearing that shit for over half a century, Bob. Try something new. Hey, Sunny sis, how are you? Yeah, you guys are very welcome. So I want to be, and this kind of is a great segue into one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today. Okay. So one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today is how even if you're not aware of it, right? We need to be paying attention and aware of how language is used in this country, even when you don't mean it that way, right? Yeah, Sonny, I'll give you a holler later because I have some questions for you for the journalist that you and I talked to. Okay. So let me kind of give this to you guys and see how this goes. Okay. Hey, Denise. All right. So listen, folks. All right. So if you remember when Barack Obama put out his statement with regard to Israel and Palestine, he also used dehumanizing language when he was referring to the Palestinian people. So you have to be mindful of the language that we use and how that language can be used to dehumanize and to spread propaganda. Okay. And I'm going to point something out for you, as something that, and I'm just going to offer this to you. You guys take it for what it is and what it means to you. And however this sits with you is fine with me. Okay. But one of the reasons that white people find it so offensive to hear people of color say white people is because white people are used to being the people by default. Okay. White people are used to being people by default. So when we look at news media, right, and they refer to a woman did such and such, they never identify that that woman is a white woman unless someone else in that story is anything other than white. Okay. And because white people are not used to being called by a color, they find it offensive. There's something funky about being called a color, right? Whereas black and brown people are used to being called by that all the time. But it is a default in the media. The only time that the media states that it is a white woman or a white man is if someone else in the article, in the situation, is a person of color. And so because that's not something that you're used to, it's not something that, and you are used to being the default. Like when you think people, you just think white people, right? That is the standard in Western society. And so because of that, it is very uncomfortable for you. Okay. And so sit with that and see how you feel about those types of things. You guys, I don't know why y'all busy up there talking to the trolls or the people that are just trying to be distracting. So I really want you all to understand. Good morning, Charlene. So I really want you all to understand how this works. Okay. So for intensity, if you would like to come up and have a discussion, we can do that. I sent you a direct invitation. For intensity, I sent you an invitation to join the panel. Hey, good morning. How are you? Good. So are you new to my live?
Yeah, first
Okay.
time.
You have a lot of background noise. Is there any way to lower it at all?
I'm outside, so I don't know what to tell you on that.
Okay. It sounds better now. I don't know what it was, but it sounds better. So I'm not sure if you were in here earlier when I shared kind of how I do things in this space, but I asked for 4 things, right? I asked for folks to be respectful, for folks to not use slurs, to not spam the comments, and don't type in all caps.
I don't plan on doing any of that. Go ahead.
Great. Well, I always like to set it so that everybody knows. All right. So you made a couple of statements in the chat. And one of the first statements that you made was that I have white envy. Can you share with me what it is that I've said that indicates I'm envious of white people at all?
Well, you have like some kind of hidden anger towards white people, which is pretty amazing to me.
Well, so I would say, hold on. I would say first that there's a difference between.
Are you gonna let me finish?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
Okay. You get the sense of anger towards white people, like we're the fault. A lot of individuals, what they need to do is get over it, get on with their lives, and don't look at life as color. You specified a lot of people that they know, like you, are like you white people. It is white envy. You want to live the life that we have. Work harder, do the right thing, live the right way, and who cares what color you are?
Okay. Are you done now?
Now I am, yeah.
Okay, great. So first, I want to be clear about what you said originally. What you said is that I have white envy. And I still did not hear you say anything about what I said that indicates I'm envious of white people.
Well, you come across that way.
In what way? What did I say? I'm asking you. What did I say that indicates? Because, well, let me ask you this. Can you define envy for me?
Yeah, I can. Listen, I'm not going to go into some kind of define this. What are the stats?
No, I didn't ask you about. I didn't ask you about stats. If you say that I am, if you say that I am envious, I am asking you, what does envy mean to you?
What do you think it means? Do you know the definition of envy?
I just asked you for it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to. You. Both of us know what that is. This is not some college course that I'm taking.
Well, so here is the
scenario of. Are you gonna let me finish? Jesus. You were getting into a scenario of this guy says that the life should be this way. I mean, who cares what color anybody is? But you put that emphasis on that. And if you talk to somebody who's ignorant before you, that called you names, that's his stupidity.
Okay, so I didn't say any of those things. That would be the first thing that I would say to you, which is why I ask you. So one of the things, so please let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that is very important, and this is why I always ask this question, if there is someone in the comments that says, I am a particular thing, like you did, what I want to ask and what I always ask is, I ask you to not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me, please. Do not interrupt me, please. Do not interrupt me.
All right.
Because what you actually said was, I have white envy. That is what you said. And when you first joined my panel, what I asked you was, what did I say that indicated I was envious of white people? Like, that was literally the question that I asked based off of your statement that I have white envy. And so what I have said since that time, because you haven't been able, when I asked you what I said, then you said I seem angry. And again, what I would ask you is, and what have I said that appears angry? Because my tone is staying the same. I have not been angry at all. When you say people shouldn't see color, well, what I would tell you is that if the person on my panel refers to blacks, then they have brought up color, and I am going to absolutely educate them on the proper use of language today, right? And I'm going to point out to them when the language they use is inappropriate. Okay, so that's not being angry. That's called being helpful, right? So I have yet to hear you say anything about me, anything that I have said that indicates envy or anger. And if you cannot do any of those two things, then it would indicate that your statement is wrong. So can you give me an example of anything that I have said that indicates envy of white people or anger today? You're on mute. You guys be respectful in the comments, please. For intensity, you're on mute. I sent you an invite to unmute. For intensity, are you able to unmute? I sent you an invite to unmute. There you go. So are you able to do either of those two things? Are you able to share with me something that I said that that indicates I'm envious of white people? Or what have I said that was angry?
But you're commenting when I first listened to you about white people, in any sense of the word, whether you talk to some other individual that got you angry, the gist of it, again, I'll tell you this, so maybe you can understand where I'm coming from, is not you in particular. It is a white envy that Black people have this hostility towards white people for any set reason, that they are the downtrodden, and we did this and we did that, so on and so forth, and we
so where was any of that in this conversation?
Are you going to listen?
No, I'm going to ask you a question. No, I'm going to ask you a question.
Now you're just being angry.
No, now I'm going to ask you a question. Now I'm asking you a question about something that you said.
The first question you asked.
I'm asking you.
You won't even listen.
I am asking you a question. Okay? Because now you are on to a subject matter that doesn't have anything to do with this conversation. It doesn't. We were having a political conversation, right? About voting and religion. That's what myself and the prior guest was discussing. That's what our discussion was about. There was no discussion about oppression. There was no discussion about what white people have done. There was zero mention of that by myself or the individual that was on the panel. So that was not the discussion at all. The discussion was about, the prior guest said that Democrats hate God. We began to talk about, where does that come from? Like, what was he basing that on? He could not share that with me. He then asked me to look up some things for him. So I did. And I shared to him the actual statistics that disprove his claim. And when he used a derogatory term racially, I corrected him about that derogatory term. And then I began to just share with everyone about those terms and why we use them differently, right? As people across the board, and why people feel some type of way when they hear them. That is not envious at all. And that is not angry, right? Nor is that discussing anything that white people have or haven't done. It was a discussion about media. Okay. So none of those things apply to what you're saying. So I would ask you, why did you hear them when I didn't say them? And this is the real question that I have for you, for intensity. Why did you hear things that I did not say? And now I've sent you an invite to unmute.
No, see, but you just want to listen to yourself. It's not a discussion, okay? You're basically just rambling on and giving an excuse about, this is what I did, and this is what I said. That's not a discussion. That's you having a platform and you putting me on mute, not to have some kind of constructive criticism that when I came on first, I didn't hear your discussion you had with the other individual. You were like, white people this, white people that. That's the way white say it. That's what sparked me to say that you have white envy. And you can sit there and call me a cracker to my face. I don't care. You care about what someone calls you, any other slur word, or who cares? It comes, and you have to look at it where it comes from. And if they're ignorant and stupid, and they're going to say that, then that's on them. Not the situation of you saying, when I first came on to your platform, you were talking white this, white that, white. I mean, who cares?
So in other words,
if the guy's purple, who cares?
So in other words, just hearing the term, the term white people made you angry.
No, it didn't make me angry.
Well, what did it make you? Because the context, because
it never ends.
Actually, if you listen to what I was saying, when you entered was because it was part of the conversation, because the other guest brought it up. The guest brought up color. For intensity, the guest brought up color, not me. The guest brought up color, and I responded to the guest. Right? And what I said to the guest was,
Hey, came on.
what I said, I'm going to finish speaking, don't interrupt. Okay, the guest,
you keep putting
I didn't touch you, so no, I did not. So again, the guest used the reference about color. The guest said blacks. And so what I did was I shared with the guest that what you say is black people the same way that I would say white people. And so what I said to the guest is, we don't say, I would never just say whites do this. I would say white people. Why? Because no one.
You never said anything about the white person. You never mentioned anything about the word. You have to go back to what you were talking about.
I just did go back to exactly what I was talking about.
No, you see, now you think you.
So, folks, did I go back to everything that we were just talking about?
Now you're looking.
No, I'm just telling you what you don't seem to know.
The crowd's gonna always agree with you.
No, they're not.
Your problem is you.
I don't have a problem for intensity.
Yeah, you do.
No, you sound like you have a problem.
I don't care.
You sound like you do have a problem.
I don't care. You're trying to twist it like
I'm not twisting anything.
I don't care if you're purple.
Well, I didn't say you cared if I was purple.
If you're going to be a jackass, it doesn't make a difference what color you are.
And again, I don't think anybody's having a conversation about what color people are. That wasn't the conversation.
Why'd you bring up white?
I didn't bring up white.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I brought up specifically. Stop talking over me. I brought up specifically white people because the guest said blacks. And I spent a lot of time telling the guest that we don't call people by a particular color. I said to the guest, you don't call people blacks the same way I don't call people whites because it's dehumanizing. What I said is that no one is a color. That's what I said. And I said that's why it's important to say black people and white people because we are all people and not just a color. That is the conversation that I was having when you came in and told me, more than once, I would add, that I had white envy. And yet you are not able to you're not able to say a single thing that I have said that indicates I'm envious of white people.
Because you are bringing up color.
No, I didn't.
You just say, oh my gosh.
No, I didn't.
What? Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You're thinking, and you think, oh yeah, you're this and that. I don't care what color you are.
Well, apparently you do, because that's all you've talked about.
No, I don't. You do.
No.
You're the one bringing up the white person.
Why would I bring up white people?
Because when I first came, you're going to let me finish? Or are you going to
maybe not. You kept interrupting me.
Because, no. You keep muting me.
No, I didn't touch you. I didn't mute you.
Sure you did. Sure
I didn't.
Okay.
If I mute you, I will tell you I mute you.
You're going to sit there and be ignorant enough to look at somebody as a color, that's on you.
Which is what I just said to the last guest.
Okay.
That's literally what I said to the last guest.
You're going to sit there and judge somebody by the color or by the cover of a book, and the way they are and the way they look, that is really, really sad. Okay.
Which is what I just said to the previous guest.
Okay. Well, like I said, I didn't hear that discussion. I came on afterwards.
Okay, so this is my question.
And listen to you.
Hey, Kat.
And I was listening to you, and you're making some decent point, and then you're like, white people this and white people that.
No, that's not it.
If you have white envy, you gotta learn how to wrestle with that.
So for intensity,
I don't care.
So for intensity, hold on one moment, please. For intensity. So let me just share this with you. Okay. At no time did I bring up white people except for in response to the former guest saying blacks. And so I think the question that I would still like to know is why just me saying white people would make you think that I'm envious of white people? Like, why would, hold on, let me finish. Okay. Because if I just say, if all I say is white people, what about that would indicate envy of white people, unless you have the position that white people are something to be envious of? Because white people, well, hold on, because white people in and of itself doesn't indicate envy and it doesn't indicate anger. It indicates nothing, right? So my question for you is, why would the phrase white people make you jump to the position of white envy or anger? Because my tone has never been angry, right?
Okay, I get your point.
And I didn't say anything envious. In just a second, when I finish my sentence, yes. When I finish my sentence, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Love that.
Really love
So that's what I would like for you to explain to me. Why you hear something that I did not say.
Because when I actually, you're gonna let me talk now, right? You're not gonna mute me at all, right? Okay. When I hear people, any individual talk about that's any color about white people, I mean, it comes across to a point of, do you want to live the way that we live, or do you want my type of life, or what have you? It just comes off as visceral. It comes off as it's my fault, the reason why I am the person that I am, when I don't care one way or the other, whether what color you are. It comes across that you're trying to justify something. And if you didn't care about color, why even bring it up? Why? Why would you even bring up what color the person was? If the person is being a jackass, if they're more or less coming across belligerent, if they're coming across with stupidity, it doesn't make a difference what color they are. Loads of friends, okay? And I don't judge them as what color they are, but you seem to bring that up. Okay? That is your main objective. If you talked about a person without telling about, oh, they're pretty ugly, black, white, Asian, whatever the story may be, it's the individual and the brain and the conversation you have with them. If they more or less, if this person said black people, then, that guy's an idiot. Okay? And it gets to a point where I've talked to people and had discussion with them, and they get extremely angry at me. Well, yeah, you white people don't know. I don't know what. Okay? That's my point. It gets too ridiculous when a person of any color sits there and says, well, you're privileged, or you're this, or you're that. And if I had your life, it's ridiculous. There are poor white people, there are poor yellow people, there are poor black people, and there are more or less prejudiced idiots out there that label somebody on their skin color before they even have a conversation with them, which is ignorant. And I want nothing to do with people like that. So you're taking it as some kind of slur, and I'm not, and it's not. I'm just listening to you, like I said, got on your platform, and you started going off on white people. All right? That's not your right to do that. Just like the same reason it's not my right to sit there and label you any kind of color you are. I don't know who you are. I have no idea who you are. I'm more or less interested in your personality and your intelligence, other than what color you are. Okay?
Okay, so now I'm going to respond. Okay, and the first thing that I'm going to do is tell you, don't lie on me ever. When you join my platform, I have never gone off on white people at all. So don't say that shit, because you know that it's false. What you will not do is tell me that you weren't in here long enough to hear what the previous guest said, and then tell me that what you heard me do was go off on white people, because that's a lie. So I don't know whether if you've had a sip today or what you've done, but what you won't do is say lies about me that aren't accurate. So that is the one thing that I will tell you straight off the bat. Okay. So I just want to be clear about that. You didn't hear me go off on white people ever. You heard me use the term white people. And I have now told you for the fifth time that I said white people because the guest before you used the term blacks. And I said to him, that is a dehumanizing term, which is why you say black people, the same way that I would say white people, because I would never dehumanize white people. Now, I've said that to you 5 times. If you do not know how to listen and comprehend what I said, that would be your fault. If you have had conversations about racial issues with other people and they have gotten mad at you, if they have told you that you are privileged, if they have said whatever, that is not what this conversation was about. So if you came in here with your other issues from other conversations and you brought them and projected those onto me, that would be a you problem, not me. So it's very important, sir, that when you come into this space and you have a conversation with me, that conversation be about me, the things that I have said, and not the things that I have not, and not your issues with other people. Now, I've said it 3 or 4 times now, maybe 5 or 6, and I'm not going to say them again. There has been nothing that I have said that indicated white envy, white hatred, not anything, because discussion was not about race when you entered this conversation at all. So be clear when you speak that you do not tell lies, especially not about me.
Well, first of all, they'll come out and say, I had a sip.
I didn't say you had a sip. I said, I don't know if you had a sip. What I said, there you go again, lying. No, there you go lying on me again. I did not say you had a sip. What I said is, I don't know if you had a sip or not. That's what I said. Listening to comprehend instead of listening to respond would be really great for you. Because what you're not going to do is continue to tell me I said things that I did not say. Now, you could try it again as long as you don't tell me I said something I did not say.
You just keep muting me. So, I mean, it's not even a discussion. You just want to hear yourself talk. So, in any sense of the word, you think you get full control of the situation. That's fine.
No, when you lie on me, I will mute you. When you lie on me, I will mute you.
Yeah, and yelling is not going to get your point across.
When you lie on me, sir, I will in fact mute you.
I don't lie.
You did. You did. You've lied several things.
You're telling me, you're calling me a drunk.
No, I didn't call you a drunk.
You're fabricating.
I did not call you a drunk.
Because you're angry at somebody, but don't be angry at me. I don't even know you.
You are not. I didn't say any of those things. And I'm not yelling.
I don't care what color you are.
You keep saying that, and I think thou dost protest too much.
No, because you'd be amazed at my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriends, and
I don't care. Let me tell you something. Okay, so I'll address that. I will absolutely address that.
You're gonna mute me again. Okay?
No, I'm not. I haven't touched you.
Mute me again.
I haven't muted you. Would you like for me to mute you?
You'll sit there and try to get your point across.
He does protest too much.
And no, I will listen to you.
Okay, well then let me share something with you. Okay, since you can listen to me.
You're going to sit there and talk about white people.
I didn't talk about white people. So what did I just say to you? What did I just say to you? No, I didn't. So when you can stop lying, you can come back. I didn't say shit about white people. And so when he can come back and not fucking lie, he can come back. When he can not lie, he can come back. That's why he got dropped. Now, I'm going to say this, and I was going to say it when he was up here. Okay? Let me say this very clearly. When a white man says to me, I've had black girlfriends or I've dated black or brown women, that is never shocking to me. white men that had enslaved black women have always been able to have sex with us. Your ability to have sex with a black or brown woman is not indicative of your lack of racism. Y'all have always been down with the swirl. So let's not act like that's indicative of anything, because it ain't. So just to be clear about that. So I'm going to now point out a few things about that conversation. So things that I heard when you listen to people talk, people will tell you who they are as they speak. Okay? People will tell you who they are as they speak. When he says, what, you want to live like we live, that is indicative that he believes white people live better than black people. That's his prejudice. I can hear it. Right? When just hearing the phrase white people makes him think that there's some sort of white envy, that again shows you the bias. Right? I don't have to tell you anything. When I hear you speak, you tell me who you are in this conversation. Because let me just tell you something. If he wasn't the person that was hung up on those things, okay? The very first time I said, if you weren't in here, I was responding to the former guest that said blacks, and I was telling the guest that black people is the proper term, the same way that I say white people. Now, listen, if he was not hung up on race, the minute I provided that explanation, he would have said, oh, well, I didn't hear that part. Sorry about that. Right? You follow me? That's what he would have said. But he couldn't get there because he is, in fact, hung up on race. And that's why I said, I think thou dost protest too much. All right? So appreciate it, Devil Dog. Now, the one thing that I don't let people do, now you can lie about statistics, you can lie on yourself. You can say, I don't believe that, I don't talk like that, you can say whatever. What you don't get to do is lie on me. Because that will be the one time that I will put you in check. Let me tell you something. If the first two things that you have to say to me are white envy or angry, that tells me all I need to know. That tells me all I need to know. Right? The association of anger with a woman of color tells me everything, because I'm not angry, nor have I been angry, especially the entire time the prior guest was on. Do y'all remember I said to you, why are y'all letting him get under your skin? He's not under my skin. So again, listen, people will show you who they are. And when they do, I believe them. What I don't do is give them the satisfaction of seeing a response from me. Again, he's not the first white man I've seen like that. And it's okay. So listen, when you say you don't appreciate the way he spoke to me, I hear you and I appreciate the consideration for me, right? But that man ain't nobody to me. I won't remember his name either. I won't remember him either. I won't, but I promise you, his ass will remember me. Right? Right. So, one of the things that allows me to sit in the space that I sit in and have the conversations that I have. So, here's the thing, I don't need him to respect me. Do you want to know why I don't need him to respect me? Because I have self respect. I don't need anything from him. I don't need anything from him. I have enough self respect. I have enough self love. I am complete and whole. I need nothing from anyone else. If you give it to me, it is the cherry on top. And I do not expect for people to give to me what I give to them. I choose to give people respect. What I don't do is make the assumption or have an unrealized expectation that they are automatically going to give it back to me. Do you want to know why? Because not everybody has done the work that I have done to be who I am. You hear me? Not everyone has done the work that I have done to show up in life the way that I show up. So just because I am respectful to you, just because I am patient with you, doesn't mean that you're going to be that to me. But the thing about it is you don't determine how I show up. You don't determine how I show up. I show up based on who I desire to be in this lifetime. And I desire to be someone who shows up respectful. I desire to be someone who shows up compassionate. I desire to be someone who shows up giving consideration and grace. That's who I desire to be. I also desire to be someone that when I've had enough will cuss you the fuck out or put you on mute. I just don't desire to be that person right off the bat. I just don't desire to be that person right off the bat. It takes a minute. Okay? Appreciate you all. Okay. Now, back to what I was saying. Hey, Heidi, good to see you. So back to what I was saying about how we have conversation and the words that we use and why they matter, and how sometimes we use words that reinforce and spread propaganda that even when you don't intend to. What's up, VJ? Right? So let me share with you what I heard this morning. You ready? So this morning, I was listening to NPR, and NPR, good morning, Manny. NPR started talking about Lebanon. And they were introducing a guest that was coming on to have a conversation with them about Israel and Israel's bombing in Lebanon. And what they said was, and who better to have this discussion with than so-and-so who helped Lebanon, when Israel was responding to attacks by Hezbollah, right? So this is important. When they say Israel attacks Lebanon in response to Hezbollah, and that's the problem. And when they say the same thing about Hamas, that is also a problem. And the reason why I will tell you that is because Israel has been bombing Lebanon long before there was a Hezbollah. Hezbollah developed and became founded in response to the attacks by Israel. Hezbollah did not come to be until 1982. And Hezbollah was formed in response to attacks by Israel. Had Israel never attacked Lebanon, there would be no Hezbollah. Had Israel not illegally occupied Palestine and attacked Palestine, there would be no Hamas. So what you don't get to do is attack someone and then call their defense of your attack terrorist, because they're not. They're not. I would argue that the person that is doing the attacking first, the unprovoked attack, or the way that the media likes to say it, see you later, Donnell, the way the media likes to say is preemptive. There's no such thing as a preemptive attack. I just want to be clear. That whole, oh, I'm going to strike first so you don't strike me is bullshit. So just to be clear, it is an attack. It's not a preemptive anything. And the person that is attacking first is, in fact, the terrorist, especially when what you are attacking are schools and hospitals and churches and infrastructure. Just to be very clear about that. Okay? So it's really important, even when people listen to, good morning, Free to Be Me. It's important if whether you will listen to BBC, whether you listen to NPR, whether you listen, it's important that when you hear things, you are listening to the words, damn, Switzerland just canceled an order for Patriot missiles from us. Switzerland just canceled an order of Patriot missiles from us. One of the dangers that is happening with this administration is the President of the United States is unifying our allies, but he's unifying them against us. I really desire for people to understand that the President of the United States is unifying other people against us. No, that's not good for us. That means that's money that we're not going to get against the United States of America. I don't know if another administration is going to be able to regain their trust. I think one of the things that is going to play a significant role, okay, is going to be what happens in the midterms. I think if the world watches the American people and they watch the American people continue to elect the people that allow this president to do what he does, then no, our allies will continue to move away from us. So I think that people need to understand this, okay? Congress has the ability to rein this president in many, many ways, okay? And if the people in the United States of America continue to elect a GOP majority that does not use its separate but equal power to rein in this president, then I do not expect for the rest of the world to trust us. I don't. There is a shift 100% away from the United States of America. And I want to give you all a little bit of information, right? So let me just check to see. Let's just see if this is a real person or not. Mods, can we find out the people that are in the request, if they are real requests and what they want to talk about? Can we find that out for me? Because I have a lot that I want to cover today, and we haven't even been able to get into a lot of it yet. And I've been on for almost an hour and a half now. So, there's a lot. Okay, so let me get rid of this real quick. I want to play something for you all. How many of you all are aware that a few days ago, the United States, our president was at an event that was, I believe, in fact, let me just see really quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So this event was a Saudi Arabia backed investment forum. Yes, Debs, that's what I'm talking about. So I want to play something for you because the president of the United States was at a Saudi Arabia backed investment event, and I want you to hear something that the president of the United States said. And I'm going to play a little bit before it, right? Okay, thanks, Cam. I'm going to play a little bit before that segment. What's up, Audra? Because I want you to hear all of it, okay? So give me 1 sec. All right, here we go.
You know, when I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, you got to, I don't care. Norway has lost so credible. I stopped 8 wars. I even stopped India and Pakistan. And they were going at it for a week. 9 planes already shot down. They were in a war. I stopped them. You know how I stopped them? I said, if you keep fighting, I'm going to put a 250% tariff on each one. No, you cannot do that. I said, I'm doing it. All right, we won't fight anymore. That's how I stopped them. They used tariffs and stuff. You ever hear of anything like that? It was too much for them to bear. But they were going to be in a war. And the prime minister, actually a great guy, the prime minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 30 to 50 million people.
This was a couple of days ago, Kim.
What happened?
March 28th.
I figured, I mean, if I don't get the Nobel Prize for Peace, nobody will ever get it. I didn't get it. I'm not surprised. I didn't get it. And the person that got it was shocked. She's a wonderful woman, too, by the way. And she said, no, I don't deserve it. President Trump does. Nobody deserves it. Nobody ever does. I stopped 8 wars, Yasser. Do you know what that is? 8 wars. You didn't stop 8 wars. You started 8 wars, Yasser. I stopped 8 wars. But it was a little early because, in all fairness, it was for the year before, right? It was for 24. But still, you thought they would have made an exception. But they didn't do that.
They don't make an exception for the Nobel Peace Prize.
But it was sort of amazing. So she was so nice, and she actually came to the White House and she presented me with her award. She's a wonderful woman. But stopping wars is, I think, is my.
I know.
It's the best. I think I do it the best.
Of course you do.
Nobody said. President Putin called me. He said, "I can't believe you stopped this one and this one, which are impossible." Azerbaijan was an impossible war to stop. We stopped it. But we also have a man who's probably good at stopping wars. I know he's good at being a tough guy. He is a tough guy. He's been very tough on crime, and he's done a great job. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez.
So listen to this.
Francis, hi. How are you? And we have a great son. He's got the best genes, I think, of any human being I've ever known.
Listen.
He's my son, Don Trump. Don. He's a great guy. And his fiance, Bettina. Good,
listen.
Bettina, good. No, my son's got the greatest genes in history. I'm a big believer in genes, by the way.
Now, I'm going to pause right there for just a moment. If you have not heard this rhetoric over the years from Donald Trump, I would highly recommend that you go back and you listen to his talk about genes. He believes in eugenics. He believes in eugenics. He is a big believer in genes. And yep, it is eugenics, 100%. And if you do not know all of that, yeah. So I wanted to pause right there and offer that to you. I want you to just Google Donald Trump eugenics, and you will see all of the times, right? He just can't say eugenics, so he says genes. Good morning, Irvette. But I wanted to point that out for you because it is significant. Good morning. So let me let you finish this part because this other part is really important. Yes, the scary mustache guy also was a big believer in eugenics. Yes, correct. But here we go. So listen.
My daughter Tiffany and her husband Michael, my beautiful daughter, right? And they have a new child, the most beautiful guy we've seen, right? Blows us all away, right? He's great. Thank you for being here. And countless other business leaders. We have so many.
No, Jester.
So many business leaders, but we can't go on because we have a couple of moments more to discuss the world and the economy. Over the past 14 months, the Trump administration has achieved perhaps the most dramatic one-year turnaround of any nation in all of history. A short time ago, a man that we just discussed, the king, the future king of Saudi Arabia, and I also love the king of Saudi Arabia. What a man he is. When I was there, we bonded. He would grab me to get up. He was a little frail at the time, but this was a long time ago, and he's still doing well. And he'd grab my arm to get up when I was sitting next to him. And they said that's the only time he's ever grabbed anybody. He would grab me all the time. And I said, I think he likes me. And he did like me, and he still likes me, and he's a great man, and say hello to him. He's a great guy with a great son.
I want you to listen.
But a short time ago, we were together, and he looked at me, and he said, you know, it's amazing. 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. He didn't think this was going to happen. He didn't think he'd be kissing. He really didn't.
He didn't think he'd be kissing my ass.
Another American president that was a loser, where the country was going downhill. But now he has to be nice to me. You tell him he better be nice to me. He's got to be. But it was really something. He said.
So I want you to understand that Saudi Arabia is nothing like the United States of America. If you say to the prince of Saudi Arabia that he didn't know he was going to be kissing your ass and that you better be nice to him, that these folks are, you're not talking to Mike Johnson. You're not talking to Pete Hegseth. You are talking to a completely different type of people. And I don't think that he understands yes, it's very offensive, very offensive. And like, I literally don't think that he gets what it is, right? To be that disrespectful to the Prince of Saudi Arabia. There's no way that he can understand that. So I was listening to someone that was talking about Donald Trump. And I just want you to hear the way that people are talking about the president of the United States. Okay? So people are saying that the president of the United States, and I'm going to quote, he believes he lives in a world, that's what she said. He lives in a world where if he just keeps saying things enough, he believes it will be reality. Now, I want you all to understand something. What they are literally describing about the president of the United States is that he's fucking delusional. No, not slow. That's delusion. That is delusion. And if you remember, Susie, his chief of staff, said the same thing. It is a problem when the president of the United States believes that if he just says things enough, it will be so. And listen, The being the president of the United States is not the same thing as marketing. And okay, so I played this yesterday and I'm going to play it for you all today. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to laugh because I laughed yesterday. And every time I'm about to laugh right now, as soon as I think about it. But I literally need for you all to hear this. So I predicted several months ago that the Republican Party was going to ditch Donald Trump. Okay. And and I said that he is going to be too much of a he was going to be too much of a burden. He was going to be too costly for them. And I said this the other day, and I say it now, and I'm going to play something for you that would indicate I am right on the money. And so give me a second to get the video up and ready to go. 1 second. And you all are going to watch this. If you do not believe that the MAGA movement, that the Republican Party is ready to ditch Donald Trump, I'm telling you that they are, and they are laying the groundwork for it. Listen, they are, and they are beginning to lay the groundwork for it. The groundwork with the Republican Party always begins with their right-wing podcasts. I'm telling you, okay, I am telling you right now, it always begins with their right-wing podcast. And that is the case right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my screen around so that everyone can watch and hear this together. You ready?
Swell up 3 times the size they were before. That means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump, and we just mobilize against the Democrats. And we mobilize against neocons, we primary them, and we just fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done. There's a fourth turning. Populists, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening. And Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now.
A minor figure.
And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump
that
went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny. This is not good. But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him. You can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal. They think it's the lesser of two evils. And okay, but I just, Trump needs intervention. He needs to take some time off. We need to pray for Trump, the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump. We need to pray for other people to be awakened. We need to pray for justice. Ankles swell up 3 times the size.
He said, we need to, just rubbing his head. He said, I don't even know what we need to do. He's gone. He needs an intervention. We need to pray for the Holy Spirit right now. I am just telling y'all, OMG, I cried when I watched this for the first time. So, let me just share this with you all. And it's the fact that he started with the cankles. He said his ankles are swole up 3 times what they were. That means heart failure. And he is bambling, he is rambling. I don't know, he's not well. He said he's just gone. He needs an intervention. I said, so yesterday, y'all know what I said? I said yesterday they're gonna have Paula White calling on the angels from Africa, come right now. The angels from Africa, come right now. The angels from South America, come right now. Come right now. That's what they're gonna have Paula White doing in the White House around Donald Trump. I'm just saying. Oh, good gosh. That's what they're going to have her doing. Oh, holy geez. Oh my God. But so listen, y'all, I laughed yesterday. I thought I was going to pee on myself yesterday. He's gone. And there's no need to cry for the old Trump. We can just be grateful for the old Trump. Because, this happens. This happens. Holy geez. I'm just saying. So listen, y'all. You have to understand that if Alex Jones got a green light to say that, that has come from somewhere up above. Y'all know that, right? Listen, if for Alex Jones to say it, it has come from somewhere up above, way up higher than him, right? And so I think it's important. I think you will start to see this rhetoric happening everywhere. Right, Rhonda, they are setting the stage. And here's well, let me tell you why they are struggling, right? We need to pray that the Holy Spirit touch him right now and loose him from whatever hold they got. Y'all, Alex Jones, he's been to somebody's black church, y'all. Either that or he's been with Kenneth Copeland too much. I'm going to loose him right now. I'm telling you. Holy jeez. Okay. But here's going to be the challenge, okay? Here's going to be the challenge. The party has to weigh the midterms versus the long-term strategy. Okay? So listen, I'm just saying, Snarly Sue. I'm just saying. But it's really crazy. So listen, they're gonna have to weigh what is happening in the midterms versus the long-term strategy. The long-term strategy was to have JD Vance take over, but not until after Trump had been in office 2 years. Because if Trump is in office for 2 years and JD Vance takes over after that, he can still run for 2 more terms. Okay? But he cannot run for 2 more terms if he takes over prior to that 2-year mark. So they're at this conundrum of, oh my God, are we going to lose control of the House and possibly the Senate, right? Or do we distance ourselves from Trump now and try to hold on to Congress? And I just don't think, I said this before, I don't think he's going to make it to the 2-year mark. I said it before. I do not believe he will make it to the 2-year mark. And I think that Israel has actually done us a favor, because I believe that this war in Iran has been the tipping point. I think this is where we've just gone too far and can't come back from. Right? And so I think that we are all we're going to be seeing the continual distancing of people from him. right? And so I'm just saying, now let me just say this to folks. Listen, in my opinion, I hope he makes it just until after the midterms. I need him to make it till Thanksgiving. and the reason why is I'm just saying, no, I do, Nene, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Listen, I'm going to tell you why. Because we need the division within the Republican Party to continue all the way up until these midterms. There is a chasm, and I have been saying this, and people are like, oh, I don't think so. There is. There is a chasm within the Republican Party that has been started and made worse by our relationship with Israel. So in the strangest of ways, I can give gratitude, not for the things that Israel has done, but for the fact that people are now seeing the state of Israel for exactly what they are. And they are seeing that too many of our members of Congress are beholden to the state of Israel, right? So I appreciate that much. Not for the things that you've done to other people, right? However, thank you for the fact that everyone sees you now for who you are, or at least the vast majority. And if you all remember that clip of Bibi, do you all remember? Okay, so do you remember when Bibi brought a bunch of US influencers to Israel, right? Do y'all remember that? And the little blonde girl is sitting at the table and she's across the street from Bibi. And she said, well, with the passing of Charlie Kirk, she says, what do we do if we lose the Christian support, the evangelical support in the U.S.? And this is when he says, well, you gotta fight it with the right tools. And that's when he talked about TikTok being really, really important to them. And that, and it also needed to be X, right? So he talked about that quite openly at that time. There is a concern with Christians in the United States of America breaking apart. And I'm just going to tell you guys, when you see the Marjorie Taylor Greens, when you see the Tucker Carlsons, when you see the Candace Owens, when you see those people that are America first, right? Even Nick Fuentes, who is a horrible individual, now has a blue hat on his desk, right? That says America First. He doesn't have a red Make America First Again hat on his desk. He has a blue hat. That's what he has. And that blue hat says America First. And what you are now seeing is that division within the Republican Party, within that MAGA party. And so it absolutely works to our advantage for people to see that. 100%. Okay. Now, I'm just saying that's definitely the way that it is. Okay. So, let me just hold on a second. Okay. So do I think the division will continue if JD is put in? Of course, Sandra, because it's not about Trump. So listen, it's not about Trump. JD doesn't have an exit strategy either. JD doesn't have an exit strategy either, and Congress is still compromised by Israel. I need for everyone to hear me. I don't think so. But the United States of America is still compromised by Israel, right? And the thing about this is you got to understand, okay, so do you all know what a large portion of the MAGA base is? A large portion of the MAGA base are going to be your rural, small town white Americans, right? There's a lot of rural people that hate JD Vance for lying about his upbringing in Ohio. There are a ton of rural Americans that cannot stand J.D. Vance because he lied about his upbringing. A ton. That whole hillbilly elegy thing, yeah. There's so many folks that cannot stand him because what he claimed was not all of that. Oh yeah, you didn't know? Yeah. They do not like him. So let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Whoop. There's a whole article in Time magazine about this. So J.D. Vance actually grew up in suburban Middletown, Ohio. Okay? He grew up in Middletown, Ohio. So there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, you're so full of shit. You say this, but this is where you actually grew up. Let me see if I can find, and he portrays, yes, it's more the Rust Belt, okay? But there have been a ton of people that are really from Appalachia who have spoken out in droves and saying that their hillbilly identity has been co-opted by J.D. Vance. So he actually, so let me just kind of, so give me a second. It's crazy. Okay, so he actually grew up middle class in Rust Belt, Ohio. There's a whole article about it, but let me see if I can find this part for you that I want to give you. Let me find the part. Hurry up. So his mother was an addict. I will tell you all that. Okay, that is true. But he grew up middle class, and he grew up not in the hills. So, anyway, I'll put some links. Just Google it. A lot of Appalachians are pissed at him and saying you didn't grow up here. So anyway, all right. What was I saying anyway? Yeah. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for them with the MAGA base that Trump currently has, right? I mean, he did go to law school, okay, so I'm just going to give you the overview from several articles. These articles are from the Cincinnati Enquirer, The Conversation. There's a bunch of them, okay? But there's an opposing view that made Time magazine about bootstrapping. Yeah. So, yep, Dan Jones, you got it. The bootstrapping, correct. So let me just give you. So Vance claimed to be from Appalachia, but was raised in Middletown, Ohio, which is considered part of the Rust Belt, not the Appalachian region. Critics describe his upbringing as more suburban and middle class than the extreme isolated poverty often associated with Appalachia. He lived in a suburban neighborhood with access to opportunities. While he highlighted his family's ties to Jackson, Kentucky, his grandparents had moved to Ohio, where his grandfather worked a secure job with a pension at a steel plant. Let me see. Yeah. So that's the gist of it. Okay. And I don't know if he had the GI Bill and that's how he went to law school or not, but it might be. So, but the vast majority of his upbringing was in fact in Ohio, in Middletown, suburban. Okay. So just so everybody knows. Right. He's a hillbilly wannabe. You got it. Hold on a second. Okay. Right. Y'all got it. So y'all, this was a big thing in terms of like, so many politicians do this when they are kind of considering what their story is going to be, right? When he is deciding what's his story going to be, because he's going to know good and damn well that going to Yale and then going to work in Silicon Valley is not going to appeal to voters in that he would need to be able to vote for him. So, you know, it's going to be that they got to figure out how to do those things. Okay. So yeah, Peter Thiel was his mentor. And listen, he always looked up to Peter Thiel. When Peter came to Yale and JD Vance heard him speak, he said, then I knew, but he didn't, he lived in the Rust Belt, MacD Knife, and he lived in the suburbs. He didn't live in he grew up in the suburbs there. That's where he lived. You can be from Ohio. It doesn't change the fact that he didn't live in the outskirts, in the rural, and he didn't live by the Amish. Like, he lived in the suburban areas. That's where he lived. He lived in a suburban community. Like, there's a ton of articles that you can read about this, where people who are from the region where he claimed to be from and wanted to make a big deal out of, that talk about this quite a bit. So just saying. So when you look at Middletown, Ohio, I'm going to tell you what the census says. Middletown, Ohio is overwhelmingly urban, with 99.6% of its residents living in urban areas and only 0.4% in rural areas. The city operates as a suburban industrial community, and his grandfather worked at the steel plant between Dayton and Cincinnati. So it has a population of over 50,000 and a high density of residential and commercial development. So again, Middletown, Ohio would not be like being raised in Jackson, Kentucky. So I just went ahead and looked it up so we could just nip that in the bud. So I think Mac Knife, the question would be like, why would you just want to lie on TikTok? Are you being paid to lie? Or is this just like some shit you do for fun and for free? Let me know. I'm interested. You confused the towns? Oh. Well, what town did you have it confused with? What town did you have it confused with? Yeah, but what's the name of the town? No, but Miss Slim Shady, he's from, MacD Knife is from Ohio, he said. So what town in Ohio did you have Middletown confused with? Middleton. Appreciate you guys. I'm resetting the goal. So somebody remind me of whatever it is that he's saying when I get finished resetting this goal. Where are the, let's do, we could do that one. Whoops. Okay. Middleburg. Is there a Middleburg, Ohio? Let's see. Middleburg, Ohio. Oh, yeah, Logan County. I've been there. I've been in Logan County. I was just there in 2024. Yeah, now Middleburg Heights is Coega. I can't ever say that damn county, but that's a different county. Anyway. So, yeah, his granddaddy had a very secure job at the steel plant, just so that we know. Yeah, that one, Rebel. That one. Yeah, I don't need to know it. I'm not going back. I don't plan to anyway. Okay. So, having said all that, this is the place where they are at. And what the Republican Party and the MAGA folks are gonna have to do. I appreciated it. But what they're gonna have to choose between, right? And I think that they are going to have, no worries, MacD. They're gonna have a challenge navigating this, especially because, do you all remember when Mr. Global was here the last time and he talked about we're not even seeing the full impact of this war in Iran, and we won't for another 60 to 90 days. He literally said by the time, and that was a few weeks ago, right? About 2 weeks ago. So think about that. We're talking right as we get to summer, right? When we talk of right when we get to summer is when people are going to see even what's worse than now, right? And so I don't know that the Republican Party is going to be able to bullshit their way, immigration their way out of the very real affordability issues that many people in this country are experiencing and are going to experience. I just don't know that you're going to be able to racism, sexism, transphobia-ism your way out of the reality of life. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know that they're going to be able to do it. They could do it under Biden because people weren't hurting as much. Like, there's literally talk about, so do y'all know that in 2024, our gross domestic product grew faster than any other country in 2024 except Spain? Did y'all know that? And we are shit now. So this is some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. So let me get all the stuff up that I pulled up for you all today. Nope, I don't want to do that one. Let me see. Is this the one? Nope. Nope. Okay, I can get rid of that one. I get excited when I can actually close a browser. Sorry. Because it be so much. It be so much. Okay, let me see. Oh, my Lord. I know that. Thank you for the butterfly. Not me having a bajillion things pulled up and literally not being able to find the thing that I wanted. Hold on. How about I just talk about what I can find real quick, and then I can go over the rest of it when I find it too? Because if I keep talking, right, then and I keep closing them out, eventually I will get to the one that I want, right? So let's just do it that way. So I do want to talk about a couple of things that the President of the United States said last night that are just plain out false. And so the very first prompt that I have on the image today says, are they lies or does he really believe what he's saying? And the other question that I would say is, does it matter if he believes it? Does it matter if he believes it? Because if it's still a lie, like if it's still inaccurate, if it's still a lie, does it matter if he believes it? I say no. I don't care that he lives in a delusional state that is so. Like, I just don't believe that it matters that you say things and you create your own reality, because that doesn't change the reality for the rest of us. Reality for the rest of us is what it is. So I want to run through a couple of claims that he made last night, and then we're going to talk about the facts actually that behind the things that he said. Okay. So, good Lord. Sorry. Don't get hung up on me, please. It gets mad at me when I have. Right. Yeah, he just has to get MAGA to believe it. But Michael David, I don't even know that it matters anymore, because the MAGA base is not what it was before. The MAGA base is not what it was before. Let me tell y'all something. In 2024, they didn't need 500 bots to come onto social media. There were enough people in 2024 believing everything he fucking said. I didn't have to worry about a bot. They might have been trolling me, but they were human beings. Right? What we see now is a ton of bots. And it's really important that we understand that the things that we see are not real people. Okay. All right. So let me tell you what he said. The claim was, quote, that when he took over, this is what he said, quote, "We were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far with no inflation." Let me just say this to you. Y'all know good and damn well that the Prince of Saudi Arabia does not talk like that. So Donald Trump said it last night, and he said that the Prince of Saudi Arabia said it a couple of days ago, but you know that is not a Prince of Saudi Arabia kind of saying. That is a Donald Trump kind of saying. Only Donald Trump talks about making the country the hottest in the world by far. Like, I'm just saying, it's not a thing. So here are the facts. The economy that he inherited was far from weak. The last year of Joe Biden's presidency, American gross domestic product grew 2.8% adjusted for inflation, which was faster than any wealthy country in the world except Spain. It also expanded at a healthy rate from 2021 to 2023. Last year, in fact, U.S. economic growth decelerated under Trump to a still respectable 2.1%, partly because of the 43-day federal government shutdown / growth from October through December. So in no way, shape, or form was this horrible, and inflation has not vanished. It was the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index was still up 2.4% in February compared with a year before, and it's still above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. So inflation has not gone away, and the country was not dead and crippled after Joe Biden's administration. Just in case you're wondering. In case you're wondering. All right, next. Trump said this, quote, "Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable." So let me just be clear about this. Not true. The regime has not changed. And I want to be clear about this. Neither has the regime in Venezuela changed. The current interim president in Venezuela was the vice president under Maduro. There has been no regime change. Okay? The current leader of the IRGC in Iran is the son of the Ayatollah, right? So and this son is actually considered to be more conservative and more extreme than his father. So I want everyone to hear the words coming out of my mouth. There has been no regime change, not in Iran and not in Venezuela. Nope. Same regime, same people. So not true, bruh. And by the way, when he says to you that the president of Iran asked for a ceasefire, we should understand that the president in Iran doesn't decide when there's a ceasefire. The president of Iran is the civilian government. The IRGC determines when there's a ceasefire, and they not interested in a ceasefire. They've already said we didn't ask for one. Okay? The civilian government in Iran does not determine if and when there's a ceasefire. That is determined by the IRGC. And they said, we didn't ask for nothing. So everyone needs to really understand that that is not the way that it works in Iran. Okay? So again, it's just not true. The other thing that is important to remember is that Iran they have said, for every one of our leaders that you kill, we've got replacements ready to step in and fill in the gap. What's up, Petal? They said, we got them 4, 5, and 6 deep. Okay? They have not asked for a ceasefire. Yeah, so she said, wait, what? Which part, Petal? Which part? Yeah, they got deep benches. Yeah, so listen. Right, they've been preparing for a long ass time. Okay? Yeah, I'm going through the things that just aren't true. But I can't play the clips because I can't hear him. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Yeah, they said we gonna be all right. Now I could play that, Cam. So when they killed the supreme leader, right? All they did was install his son, who is considered to be even more hardline as his daddy than his daddy was. Okay. Their civilian leadership, which has had nothing to do with the war, acknowledges that it has little command and little control over what the IRGC does. They was like, we can't do shit about what they do. They got all the guns. We can't determine nothing. Okay. The next thing, yeah, I think we did, Veronica. Yeah. I think last week it was him and the president that both went out and was taking selfies with people. I don't know who this is. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure this is not a school calling me real quick. I don't know who that is. Okay. I'm glad I declined it. Oh, shit. Hold on. No, it was. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on, y'all. This is something I do got to do. Hold on. How do I do this? Okay, listen, I'm going to mute myself for 1 second. Okay, guys? Um, I got to do the same thing over here. Hold on. All right, people. So I'm back. I had to call because do you remember when I said I needed to make sure that that wasn't a school? And then the voicemail popped up and it was in fact a school. So here's what we're going to have to do. Sorry, but my grandbabies will always come first. So Dominic is actually sick in school and has to be picked up. So I need to go so that I can go get my grandson and bring him home from school and get him some stuff to hydrate him and all of that. But what I will do is after I get him and then I get him back and I get him settled, I will go live again. And we will finish talking about the rest of all the things. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go get the grandson and then I will see you guys back in just a little bit. Okay. I love you, mean it. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you soon. Okay.